Good afternoon, everybody. What is going on? I am jeffgrantMEDIA, and today's real user review, we're going to talk about the Ciele ALZCap running cap and the Hoka Clifton 9 running shoe. I'm putting the two of these together because I've worn these together for every run that I've done in these shoes. I've worn this hat, so I'm combining the video because I combined the two assets together. But before that, Huckberry did send me both the cap and the shoes for free for review, but all the opinions in this video are mine and mine alone. I did not share this content with Huckberry, Ciele, or Hoka prior to publication. They will see this when you do. In addition to that, there is affiliate links in the description box down below to both the shoe and the hat. Please consider using that link if you're buying either of these products or anything else from Huckberry. It doesn't cost you anything extra, but I do get a small percentage of the sale kicked back to me, but all those proceeds go back into the channel to help me buy more gear, to do more reviews, to help consumers make informed purchases. Okay, so I have now been wearing the shoes and the hat for, I will say the hat does have more miles on it than the shoes because I did wear this with several pairs of shoes. I'll say the Clifton 9s have probably about the same 50 or 60 miles on it that my Agility 5s have on them. I've basically been swapping these shoes out with each other, and then the hat would have 100 to about 120 miles in it. But before we get into all of that, let's do some specs. The Hoka Clifton 9 comes in at $145 USD. It comes in the Nimbus Cloud in white colorway, wheat in shifting sands colorway, oat milk and barley colorway, and my pair are the virtual blue and cerise. This is the 9th generation Clifton, hence the name the Clifton 9. The new Clifton 9 model is designed to eliminate weight while still adding 3 millimeters in the stack height for a more balanced and secure underfoot experience. It is a breathable engineered knit upper. It has a gusseted tongue to mitigate tongue migration. It has a compression molded EVA foam midsole. It has an early stage meta rocker for smooth heel to toe transitions. It has a durabrasion rubber outsole, and it is ethically constructed from vegan and recycled materials. The Ciele ALZCap comes in at $50 USD, is only available in the Willow colorway. It features UPF 40 sun protection on the brim and front panel. It is very lightweight. It has a pliable soft flat brim that is small yet still provides just enough sun protection. It features reflective front and rear panels for early morning visibility, which is something I greatly appreciate. It is made from Coolmatic Plus materials, and it is made in China. We're gonna go ahead and start with the Ciele hat because it is on my head right now. Now, I am a big fan of a solid running cap. I have also been on the hunt for a solid running cap for a very, very long time. I've had many a running cap, and honestly, one has ever fit and worked really, really well for running, and that was one I got in a swag bag when I did the TCS New York City Marathon a lot of years ago on a charity team. It worked really well. I wore it. It started white. I wore it until it was no longer white. But one of the issues I have, even with running caps, is that they don't conform to the head. They fit more like a conventional baseball cap with a stiffer brim. So when you're wearing it, you still get a bit of a gap between your forehead and the sweatband, so it doesn't collect enough sweat. In addition, because we have the hard beak, it rests and it arcs higher on my forehead, so it doesn't catch the sweat. So the sweat always comes down, it soaks, it drips, just drips into my eyes and basically blinds me while I'm running. So the thing with the Ciele is it has the soft brim, the short soft brim that lays fairly flat. It does have just enough arc so it's contouring to my head still, but it's laying lower on my forehead and it's also laying flush against my forehead. So when I'm wearing this hat, it is completely flush against my forehead. In addition, the brim being a softer material, it absorbs a lot more sweat than a standard hat that has a harder brim. And usually it's like a piece of cardboard or a piece of plastic, and there obviously the plastic will be non-absorbent, but you have a lot of surface area of the materials to help absorb it, but it doesn't do anything. I've run in regular hats and plenty of running hats, and the only other running hat was an old Nike one. I got it. It was embroidered with the running team on it and everything, and it worked really, really well. It did have a longer brim on it, but it was soft enough that it laid right. But since that one died, I have not been able to find a running cap that worked nearly as well as this one. I have been using bandanas, and once this mop gets wet, it gets crazy. So when I have a bandana on, I get crazy, ridiculous hair. And a bandana still, it's thin cotton, so once it's done, I could, and I have on long runs, take it off in the middle of my run and wring it out, which is one of the benefits of a bandana. But being such thin cotton, it's super saturated super quick, and then it doesn't do anything for me. But the hat, the Ciele hat, has been working really, really well. It sits a lot lower on my forehead, so I don't have that gap up here for more sweat to kind of come down with nothing to catch it. It molds across my forehead really, really well, and having this soft brim, it is still super absorbent. I can't say so much for the sun because the majority of my runs are early in the morning. The sun is just starting to come up when I'm running, so I don't really need it for sun protection and to keep the sun out of my eyes. But for sweat, this thing has been great. Again, I got maybe 100 miles or so running in this at this point. My mornings vary. It's sometimes it's in the mid 40s, sometimes it's in the mid 60s. Mid 60s, obviously, I'm sweating a lot more. But even when it's in the 40s, I'm usually running in, I run in just a Carhartt sweatshirt. I have an couple old, big, heavyweight Carhartt sweatshirts, and I run in those. So even though it's 45 degrees out, I'm still sweating quite a bit, and it's working really, really well in all of those different conditions. In the cooler weather, and then once it's a little bit warmer, and my body is not quite used to warm weather yet because it's just starting to get warm. So 65, me running, that feels like it's 90, and I sweat a lot. And this has been doing a really, really good job at keeping that salty sweat from blinding me while I'm running. And on the occasion where I do have to pop off the glasses and I'm wearing a sweatshirt and I do have to wipe my forehead, one other thing I notice with hard brim hats is when you wipe your forehead, you hit this and it goes way up, and then when I'm trying to do it, pull it back down, I get this hair. It always catches the hair on my forehead. Not so much the case with the Ciele because it's softer, more pliable, and it's flatter brimmed, so when I'm wiping, the hat will go up a little bit, but it doesn't go up so much that when I'm adjusting it, I'm not getting that hair pulling down and on my forehead, which is incredibly annoying. When you're wiping the sweat and try to fix your hat, you get that hair. It tickles me. It'll come down to get in my eyes. It's really, really annoying. I know I should just cut my hair not to deal with it, but somebody likes me when I have long curly hair, so I can't cut it. So all in all, the Ciele has been working out really, really well for me. I don't have anything bad to say about it. It's been very comfortable. It's been doing its job. It's quick drying, so when I get back and it's completely soaked with sweat, I just kind of put it aside, and like, I don't know, an hour, maybe two later, it's completely dry, ready to wear again. I wore it this morning. I don't know how long it took to dry because I wore it this morning. It's later on in the day. I've been at work. It's totally dry, no issues. Now we could talk about the Hoka Clifton 9. I have been wearing these quite a bit. I have been branching out some of my my workouts. I have not just been running. I've also been doing some rucking. So I've been doing both running and rucking in this shoe. I generally ruck about 2.5 miles. My shortest runs will be like a 5K. I won't run anything lower than 3.1, but usually my shortest runs are like 3.5 miles. And I generally run 5, maybe 5.25-ish in the morning, depending upon how warm it is, because Duke the dog does not like to run more than a 3.5 or 5K-ish run in the mornings if it's like mid-60s. It's too hot for him. After that, he'll just literally lay down in the grass in the middle of the run. So if it's warmer, we run shorter. I would like to run longer in the warm, but I digress. So my runs are averaging 3.5 to 5.25-ish miles in the morning. And then when I do run on the weekends, usually on Sundays, I'll do my long run. I'm doing like, I don't know, 9. I think I did 10 miles once or twice here or there, but I've been doing mostly rucking on the weekend. So I've been wearing these running and rucking. Now, this is my first pair of Hokas ever, and if you look at them, they do look kind of weird. They do have this interesting profile. They have a bulky sole to them, and they do kind of have this almost rocking chair sole. And the very first time you put a pair of Hokas on, if you never wore them before, they literally feel like you have a rocking chair on your feet. It felt really, really weird. It took me 2, maybe 3 runs to get used to them and not notice it, but once I started running, the feeling went away. Once probably a quarter mile, maybe a little more, I didn't notice it, but the first time I put them on and I walked around, I definitely felt it. It was very, very prominent, very, very noticeable that I kind of felt like I had almost a rocking chair underneath my feet. It was just a weird, interesting feeling that I had never felt before with any shoes. Running shoes, regular shoes, street shoes, hikers, boots, nothing like that. It was a very interesting feeling. And the first couple times I ran in them, as I started my runs, I would still feel it. After about a quarter or so, I'd say less than a half, the feeling went away. After about 2 or 3 runs, I didn't notice it at all, but it was something very interesting that I noticed very early on because I had never worn something with this profile before, so it was certainly a very noticeable thing under my feet. Again, went away really, really quickly, and after that, they felt not just like every other running shoe, but they felt more like every other running shoe. Now, the initial running experience also, I mean, looking down at them, they do have like this bulky sole to them, so like they look interesting. So when I'm running, looking down at this, initially it felt completely alien to me. I've never had a shoe again with this profile or anything, so it felt different. It looked totally different than anything I ever ran in, but it felt really, really good. Actually, I'm 43. I don't have the best knees in the world. I've been running for 10, 12 years now, pretty consistently. I ran a little prior to that, but I grew up skateboarding, rollerblading, mountain biking, BMX biking, dirt jumping, so my knees have seen better days. And now that I'm middle-aged, they are certainly worn out from average lifespan and extra worn out from all of the activities that I have done and continue to do. And these felt really, really good. I will say, I think I had less foot and knee pain when I get done with the run in the Hokas that I did with just about any other running shoe. So the sole may look funky. It may feel weird the first couple times you wear it, but it does its job. And I feel really, really good at the end of my runs in this shoe. Both running and rucking, it felt really, really good. Now rucking, I'm generally carrying 30 pounds. So I have body weight plus a 30-pound backpack. I'm getting good arch support. Absolutely no foot pain at all, carrying 30 or 40 pounds in my backpack. Rucking roughly 2.5 miles in a ruck again. Running 3.5 to 5.25 on average. I think the longest run I put in these shoes was about 9 miles, and they felt great. They're very, very comfortable. The one thing that I was a little worried about, I think I mentioned this in my unboxing, was that the heel here, it's quite high. It does arch back, so I think I said in my initial unboxing, because it arches back, I didn't anticipate it being a problem, and it wasn't. It does look a little weird, having it has like this almost horn look on the back of the shoe, but it does arch back. It didn't give me any rubbing issues. I do generally wear a little bit higher sock when I'm running. I don't wear like an anklet or like a no-show. I wear like a more ankle sock that kind of comes up a little bit, so my top of my sock probably comes to a little above the heel of the shoe. So even if there is a little bit of rubbage, I'm not feeling it through my socks, but there was not enough rubbage for me to not only not feel it through my socks, but not get a blister or have any discomfort. The arch support was really, really good in these. Now, they do have a bit of a softer sole than anything I've ever run in, so I feel like these might have, I don't want to say sapped my energy, because I did feel really good after my runs in these, but I think that this didn't give me back all of the energy that I was putting in like some other running shoes, because the sole is a little bit softer. It's doing a little bit more shock absorption, so I'm not getting that kickback from the ground. And just think of the surfaces you run in. The harder the surface, the more kickback you're going to get. So the softer the sole of your shoe, the less kickback you're going to get. So I personally, if I'm street running, I like to run in the road. I like to run on blacktop. I hate running on concrete. That is the worst for your knees. And then also sidewalks here in Pennsylvania are treacherous, to say the least. So I try to do most of my running in the actual road, unless I'm running downtown on busy roads or narrow roads where, even though it's 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, if a car comes down that road, especially with Duke the dog, I got nowhere to go. So I do run on the sidewalks when I have to, but I don't. I try to run on the roads. But I will say the sole was a little bit softer, so it did sap a little bit more of that energy that I was putting out. I wasn't getting everything back, but I was still comfortable. The insole itself, that was good. The arch was really, really good. It's just that this sole, like, it's pretty soft. You can see it's compressing quite a bit, and it did take a little bit of my energy out, but not enough to like completely tire me out. Again, felt fine at the end. My knees felt great. I don't think I was getting my best running times in these shoes. I was probably averaging about 15 seconds per mile shorter, so that's another indication that the soft sole was probably taking some of my energy away, because I was running a little bit slower. But it was a trade-off. Do I run a little bit slower and feel better, or do I want to do a PR? I'm not going for any PRs with Duke the Dog, so I probably would not wear this in a race if I was doing a 5K or anything. I'm not out to win anything, but generally I'm out to have a good time and make a good time in my run. So I would not wear this in a race just because I think it would sap some of my time away. Maybe if I was doing like a half, or if definitely a full, I would consider this for a full, because that would definitely help my feet at the end of a full marathon. When I'm doing a full, I'm in it for the long haul to get to the finish line. I'm not necessarily trying to make a great time. I do have a time I want to keep it under if I can, but if I'm doing a full, that is the race that I am more likely to give up some time for some ultimate comfort and recoverability. But I would not wear these for a 5K, a 10K, or a half. I would wear a running shoe with a little bit less soft sole, because I think that did take a little bit of my energy away. But all in all, the Hoka Clifton 9s and the Ciele running cap, these worked out really, really well. The cap, again, I've been on a search for a running hat for several years. Even running specific running hats, most of them suck. The Ciele, I really think it's the way this brim is on here. I like the 5-panel design. It tends to hug your head a little bit better than like a standard baseball cap style. So the hat style itself really conforms to the head, and then this kind of more flat, very soft, pliable brim. It fits really, really well, and it just conforms to the head. And honestly, I really like this colorway. I like this mint green color. I really like greens. It's my favorite color, and I like mint green. Mint and OD are probably my favorite shades of green. So I like the colorway of the hat. It fits really, really well. It does have a quick release back. If I can pop that open, so you can strap this to a backpack if you're running and you're got it soaking wet and you want to just strap it to your bag after the race so it'll dry. You can just pop it open and do it. But all in all, I'm satisfied with the Hokas. Very first time I ever ran in them. Again, felt a little weird the first couple times I wore them, but after quarter to a half running, they felt fine. Now if I put them on, I don't notice it at all. I might have flattened them a little bit, but I think it's more I got used to them. I don't think I flattened the shoe too much after only about a month or so of wearing it. Really, really, really satisfied with the Ciele running cap. So honestly, I would say if you have some knee issue running, if you're getting a little long in the tooth like myself, and you definitely need to get something that's going to give you a better recovery time, try some Hokas. Try some Hokas. They're really, really well. They work really, really well. They're really, really comfortable. I felt a lot better at the end of my run than I did with a lot of other shoes, because this sole design, it does really help your old aging knees. I would not wear this casually. It still looks a little funny for me to wear it casually, but ultimately it was a good running shoe. I wouldn't wear it in a race, but to do some runs with Duke the Dog, it's great. Very comfortable, very, very comfortable. The Ciele running cap, this I would wear in a race, no questions asked. But all in all, I'm very satisfied with both of these products. So if you like this video or any of my other videos, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Smash that big red button and ring that bell right next to it so you get notifications next time I post a brand new video. Good night.